These are what we're getting into today. I honestly think it's too soon to say whether this is an upgrade or not. More of just a replacement. They do look slightly different. So on the left here we have the existing seats that I had in the Ford Ranger, bought off eBay. These ones are replacing them. These ones had their problems. Hopefully this set solves those issues. We're going to prepare the truck a little bit better for these so that they don't have the same issues as these, but we'll get into that. Normally these trucks have a bench seat across the front, and the bench seat was about as good as any bench seat in the 90s and early 2000s all the way through to the 2010s was. It's like couch foam and a metal frame, and that's all you get. Screw your posture, who cares? The bracket sat way too high because they were small trucks for, I guess, smaller people. So I didn't fit. The stock seat, I had to sit really low, round my back out. The foam was all broken down and old, so it was just really bad for my back. It was really causing me a lot of issues. I really liked the seats that I had in the Mini Cooper, having come from an NRG bucket seat in it prior to that. They were a huge upgrade and super comfortable. So when these popped up, they looked the same. I knew that the quality would probably be different, like the material and things like that, but I knew at least the comfort would be there, initially at least. So having already purchased these seats and having them installed in the Mini Cooper and driving with them and everything, I knew that the ones I was getting on eBay were not going to be the same quality. Obviously these ones, dual locking sliders, good reclining mechanism, high quality foam and materials that haven't broken down at all. Obviously my butt hasn't been in these seats nearly as much as my daily driver truck, but these ones, you can tell that those are based on them, but not quite the same quality. So these plastic inserts here are the same design as the Brom. I'm assuming whatever company that was manufacturing these probably got in trouble for these and were forced to change them to these, because now the opening is more like your classic eBay seat opening, whereas that was almost exactly what's in the Broms. These seats also came with dual locking sliders, which is obviously a bonus. The Broms also came with dual locking sliders, whereas this came with single locking sliders. For those of you wondering, it's exactly how it sounds. You have a slider rail on each side. With these seats, there was a locking mechanism on both of them so the seat wouldn't budge. On this seat, there's a locking mechanism on only one of the rails, so you could have a slight play in the one that would cause it to twist. Now you can see this one is shinier. This one has a more matte finish. I personally think it makes these ones feel more high end. That's probably completely in my head, but that's okay. The red stitching also gives it a bit more of a, again, in quotations, high-end feel. So initially, just looking at these ones look like the better seat. But comparing them on initial quality is tough, because this is the passenger seat. It didn't have butts in it nearly as much as the driver's seat did, so comparing the two is definitely a closer comparison. But after probably more than a year now, the abuse the driver's seat has taken, it did not hold up. So some of the issues that happened with the eBay seats on the driver's seat in particular, which is not out of the truck yet, but it will be. The bolstering here has broken down a lot. You can see it a little bit here as well, but it's even worse on the driver's side because of constantly getting in and out of the truck. This got bashed down until the foam was just totally broken down. The butt pad part also has broken down, so there's not really much cushion left there. That's not the worst of it though. That's kind of to be expected with lower quality material and foam. But the tilting mechanism, it had a little bit of flex in it when I first got it, but originally behind the seats there was no other support. They were just wide open with nothing behind it, so eventually the weight and the vibrations hitting bumps and things like that flexed it enough times that the metal got fatigued and it broke. So while I take cover from the random summer shower that just hit, we could do a post-mortem on this seat. So there used to be black material across here, wired in with the same similar clips on the other ones, but I had to take it apart so it's zip tied back together. All that snip, you can peel the foam back and take a look at your frame. So I did a lot of work to this. I did a lot more welding. Originally, these were the mount points that mounted to the rail. They were welded down here, and then that glob on top there. I added the stuff on the side to make sure it was solid. I did that to all 4 of them. I welded those way more solid on. One of these bars was popped off, so I went along and welded all of those. But now the really bad spot is this side over here. So this is the side with the mechanism on it. The frame originally flexed enough to weaken the steel and break it right here, so I had to bend it back into place and weld it. Then for added strength, this is steel I added right here to what used to be a flat plate like that. From feeling the other frame, I can't tell if it's that much difference, if they've made any improvements on it. But I've improved the truck for the seat, so fingers crossed. Took the bench seat out, my poor little fuzzy friend, Corky, lost his place to sit, so I needed to build a whole bench for him. With adding that platform in the back, there's also a bar that goes across the back of the seats that stopped it from being able to flex back anymore. So obviously not having that in the first place is what caused the break in the eBay frame originally. But now, since I already have that part installed, once these seats go in, again, hopefully they won't suffer the same fate. In addition to the changes I've already made, I'm going to also add onto the bracket a handle that either comes up from the back to the front or the front to the back. I haven't decided yet, with a bike grip on it. That'll just give a good solid point between that and the handle on the A-pillar. It'll give 2 solid points to be able to get your butt up and out without sliding and rolling over and bolster bashing it. So that should solve that problem. So now for the juicy details, which is the price. The fact that these come with dual locking sliders is enough of a reason for these to cost more than these. The difference in the vinyl material, this one being more of a matte versus the satin finish, as well as the red stitches, make this one look more expensive, but this one's actually the cheaper one. After tax, I paid 452 Canadian dollars for these. At the time when I purchased these ones came in at 304 US dollars plus 82 US dollars shipping, which equaled out to $488 Canadian. So already these are cheaper than those. However, now, having looked at the eBay ad for these exact seats, going through my eBay history, the shipping for these seats is now, I think it was like $1,100 or $1,200 just to ship these seats, on top of the $300 for the pair. So now you're paying Brom prices just for the shipping of these cheaper, lower quality seats. It doesn't make sense. So these are no longer viable. You just get the Broms. Out with the old, in with the new. To make it easy, I could technically just bolt them straight to these rails, but I want the dual locking sliders. So let's cut these off, clean this frame back up, and weld that on. Alright, so yesterday I made one of the handles. It's going to go on the side of the seat, actually pointing backwards, because I had to figure out the angles. I made that off camera, but we're going to make another one now. two more or less matching handles now. Got the handle tacked in place, test fit the seat on it, make sure it clears everything, just put it in the truck, shut the door, test fit that, and we're all good. So I'm gonna fully weld this on here.